Greetings everybody, I am Lobo and welcome to Luna. This is episode 171 of my Minecraft survival series, and today, well, I'm going to make a swift U-turn real quick because we are returning to exactly where I just flew away from. I don't know why I flew away in the first place, but this is the Luna Ferry Terminal over here, run by the Explorers Lodge. We built the exterior of it last episode, but in this episode, we're going to hopefully get the interior done. Now this build is closely tied in with the Luna Welcome Center over here, and I guess at this point I could explain the functionality and the lore behind both these builds because they do both have functionality and lore that's closely tied in together, but I'll be honest with you, I feel like I've already explained this once, twice, however many times so far, and you get the picture, right? So can't be bothered with that. If you want to know, just go watch a previous episode. I know you're not going to actually do that because I always get comments about stuff that's been explained in previous episodes. But you just don't even worry about it. How about that? Let's just both not even worry about it. Now, usually I don't even work on the same project for 2 episodes in a row. I like to get some variety in there, right? But the interior of this is so closely related to the exterior, I feel like it needs to be done before I forget how I actually did the exterior. While I still have my muscle memory from placing all these blocks, right? Because we're going to do something very similar to the interior with what we did to the exterior not that long ago. So since we worked on this so recently, we do know where our shortages are going to come in. We're going to run short on birch fairly quickly as we build this up because we use a lot of strip logs and stuff like that. And basically where we have birch to collect, like this over here, that's not going to cut it. Over at our inadequate tree farm, what I am now calling my inadequate tree farm, there's a little tiny itty bitty bit of birch. This ain't going to cut it either. But it did occur to me that we have plenty of birch available to us just outside of Luna in the surrounding lands, right? There's a lot of birch that I'm going to go ahead and just start cutting down because eventually I think I will want to go ahead and flatten out the land surrounding Luna. Because we've talked about this before, how we might want to transition from Luna into the natural world kind of slowly, kind of gradually, right? And I'm thinking maybe if we flatten out those lands, put the natural world kind of far back and maybe have fields or something leading to them, that could possibly end up looking kind of cool. And so I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to start harvesting trees from here, whenever we need trees, whenever we need different types of woods. And then if it doesn't work out, if I decide not to go that route, I can always just throw some saplings back down. But, you know, going this route right now, it does seem doubly beneficial in that it will flatten out that land for us a little bit, and it'll also give us some resources for today's project. All right, so I don't know that that's actually going to be enough birch, but we got a pretty good amount. Now, we're also going to need some vines, you know, so we can get that mossy, right? Because this is going to be built right on the water. And we do know that the floors of both the Luna Ferry Terminal and the Welcome Center are going to be made out of jungle wood, so it would make sense to go ahead and collect a fair bit of this as well. But I do think that should do it for us. I think we're pretty much good on everything else, so I think we can go ahead and actually get started building. Now, I did say the interior of the Luna Ferry Terminal is going to be very similar to the exterior of it, and we talked about the exterior of it last episode when we were doing it, so I'm not going to rehash all that information. I think at this point, what I want to go ahead and do is get the walls, the floors, all that kind of stuff in, then we'll come back and talk about the finer details in a little bit. So, let's go ahead and call Wolfred, yes, Wolfred, on over, put on a little bit of music, and get to work. Welcome back, my friends. We've got the interior of the Luna Ferry Terminal now complete. Oh, that was a lot of work, but we're done. See you guys next time this episode's over. No, it's not. Because we still have a lot of work to do in here. We still have all the decorations to do in here. We've still got these 4 corner towers that need to be done. I'm still not really sure what I'm going to do with these quite yet. We'll figure that out as we go along, I guess. We've still got this villager pillar thingy right here. That needs to go. That's an eyesore. That's got to go as well. But some stuff that happened during that time lapse, I made myself a new diamond axe. It's not the greatest diamond axe in the world. It's Smite 4, it's Fortune 2, but it's got all the other necessities. Efficiency 5, Unbreaking 3, Mending, all that stuff. But because our netherite axe right here, it needed to be mended, right? And I didn't want to take a mid-build mending session. I hate doing that. It kind of takes you out of the mood. So I just went ahead and made myself a second axe. Because that's stripping the logs, right? Takes it out of you. Yeah, we got more work to do. Now, let me go ahead and reassure you that this bottom area is in fact going to be filled with water. It's going to be flooded because we do have to add some ferries in here eventually. It's not just going to be this one layer I'm doing right now. We're eventually going to dig out all this and make it deep enough to actually fit ferries in here, make it actually make sense. Hopefully, I'm not going to be able to get around to that today because I need to put some more thought into like the shape and size of these boats and stuff. If I'm going to put both of them in here, because there's going to be 2. If I'm going to put both of them in here, or possibly one of them in here, one of them somewhere else in Luna. So there's still a lot to consider, but I'm just going to go ahead and fill this in a little bit for right now so we can kind of picture it a little bit better, how it's going to look in the future. I'm doing a lot of rambling in this episode, I'm realizing. Lots of rambling. I'll try to fix that in editing. It just happens from time to time. I'm not sure why. I'm in a rambling mood today. But that should take care of the water, at least this first layer, right? Now, I did decide I'm going to put one ferry in here, one elsewhere in Luna. I know I mentioned that earlier. That's my decision. I figured it out. So just wanted to let you guys know. My next goal is to go ahead and get rid of this little villager holding area right here. I want to give these guys some room to breathe and stretch their legs, but I don't want them to wander around here so far that they go outside and, because it's dangerous out there, right? Also, it'll interfere with the villager breeder. I don't want them to wander down here and go underneath the build. I don't want them to wander down here and get stuck in the water. I don't want that, So let me go ahead and kind of section this area off and figure out how we can keep these guys safe as we continue to build here. But I mean, I guess rather than just cutting areas off, it would make sense to figure out what we're going to do with areas and how we're going to divide them up, right? Because that's what we're doing basically, is dividing up areas. I was thinking that this area closest to the door to the welcome center, the main entrance of the Luna Ferry Terminal, could be like a little ticket booth, right? We could maybe fit a little ticket booth in here. What am I doing right now? As soon as I start talking, I forget how to actually play the game and place blocks correctly. Anyway, I was thinking we could do something like this maybe, and then have like a little ticket booth back here. Like this is where you get your tickets for the ferry, right? And then you could pass through here, and we could probably even fit in like a little gate over here that you pass through with your ticket, and that gives you access to the main part of the terminal. So I would say maybe like right here, this could be the gate you have to pass through. Yeah. So right now, just kind of figuring out the layout of everything, right? So give me a few minutes. I'm going to see what I can come up with here. But then the boarding area doesn't make sense because this is where you would actually board one of the ferries, right? So you wouldn't walk out of the waiting area through the ticketing area to board the ferry. You would actually need to have this area after the waiting area, after the main part of the terminal. So we could do something like this then and have this open leading towards that boarding area, right? Now I'm kind of just bouncing back and forth as ideas are coming to me. So I think this is going to be our ticketing booth, but we don't want villagers being able to get back here, right? We don't want villagers to come back here and kind of raid the ticketing booth, get all the tickets so they can scalp them themselves and make a profit, right? So I think what we're going to do is add like a little countertop area in here, and that will prevent the villagers from being able to jump back there. Like even the little guys, even though they can fit through the gap, won't be able to jump that high to get back there. So that keeps our ticketing personnel safe, right? And I think since we've gotten this much built up, we might as well just go ahead and try to wrap up the ticketing booth since we're here. So I'm trying to keep this as sensible as I can. Like I have the light blue terracotta peeking out of the light blue terracotta, the birch peeking out of the birch, and we'll have some slabs peeking out of the stairs on the walls as well, just to kind of keep everything somewhat cohesive at least. I also want to make sure that we don't have any spawnable spots in here for mobs, because we're going to have villagers roaming around. The last thing we need is zombies roaming around as well, right? And I think that should just about do it. Let's go ahead and strip this down and see how it is ultimately going to look. You can also see here I have some arrival and departure times. I'm actually going to go ahead and sacrifice my clock for this because I think this would make sense, right? So if we have our arrival times, departure times, we have a clock there showing us what time it actually is, when the boats are coming in, when they're taking off. Yeah. But now since we have everything pretty much sectioned off and the villagers are going to stay here where we need them to stay, I want to go ahead and let them out of their little holding cell right here because I just don't like the idea of them being cooped up like that. So we built a little bouncy house trampoline park for them down here, and I think they should enjoy this. Actually, hold on. Not if I don't give them warning. All right, guys, the floor is going to fall out from under you momentarily, but you're going to bounce. It's going to be great. I'm not even charging admission for this. It's just like a thrill park. So remember, don't lock your knees. No double bouncing, and everybody should wind up safely where they need to be. Oh, which block is it? Which block is it to get us a villager? Oh, they're all on this one. Okay. All right. No double bouncy. Don't lock your knees. Here we go. Yeah, see, that's tons of fun, isn't it? No, don't. I told you not to double bounce him. What's wrong with you? So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and remove our little water elevator here, and we're going to come up with a different way to bring our villagers into this area. So just give me a moment, and I'll be back with you in a few minutes to explain the new plan. Oh my goodness, we're not even open for business yet. Look at that, they're busting down the doors to go for rides on the boats. We don't have the boats operational. You know what? I got a Smite 4 axe with your name on it, pal. How rude. How rude was that? Wow. Now, once we actually do the landscaping around here, this place should be zombie inaccessible. That's funny. I can't believe that. Anyway, for the time being, I'm just going to block this off. Anyway, as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, I want to go ahead and move the water elevator that brings our villagers into the ferry terminal. And I'm going to try to put it somewhere that makes a little bit more sense that's not, you know, protruding out from the very middle of our floor. So I think I've got our water streams figured out now. We do have a cat coming along this way who's going to demonstrate. Actually, no. I'm going to go ahead and give you the demonstration. Let me just give myself a little bit of headroom. Our villagers, too, because they're primarily going to be the ones that come through here. Actually, they're going to be mostly babies, right? But yeah, we're going to get lifted up by the cobblestone wall onto the soul sand block, which is going to accelerate us upward and out into the actual waiting area of the ferry station. Now, I would love to test this out, and I am going to test this out, but I realized I made a little bit of a mistake when I let these villagers out over here. You see, now they're too close to the villager breeder at the Welcome Center to actually have the Welcome Center villagers breed any new baby villagers. And I wanted this to be like an automatic shutoff feature. This was actually supposed to work out this way. Problem is, my lack of foresight caused me to not be able to run a test to make sure that our water streams are going to work properly. So what I may have to do here is bring our villagers back and kind of temporarily hold them back here again. Oh, the lack of foresight on my part, it's astounding. So please bear with me. I just don't want to proceed anymore with building until I know the function is there, because that's actually the most important part. It's not the look of it. It's making sure things actually work the way we need them to work. Oh, that's my fault. Overchop the boat. That's my fault. All right. So you need to egress from... Kidding me right now? You serious? Okay. You both need to egress. Thank you. Egress from the crawl space, please. Thank you. All right, so that should do it. Our villagers are now pushed far enough back so they won't interfere with the villagers at the Welcome Center. So we do need to go and see if the villagers over here at the Welcome Center are able to do their thing, right? Unfortunately, it is nighttime, so they're actually off work right now. We're going to have to wait until morning to see if they're able to do what they need to do. And I've got this thing on at this point, and as you can see, the villagers are bringing new villagers into Luna. We just had one go down, so he's going to be on his way to the ferry terminal. We got another guy who's kind of hanging out right now, but he'll eventually start wandering around and go to the ferry terminal as well. But you can see the reason why I wanted the automatic shutoff feature, right? It's because once these guys actually start doing their job, there is no stopping them. And I don't want them bringing new villagers into Luna faster than I can take those villagers, the previous villagers, and bring them to wherever they need to be in Luna, right? So yeah, that's kind of the reason why I wanted this thing to turn off automatically. So yes, credit where credit's due. These villagers, they're just amazing at their job. Too good at their job, in fact. And basically what I don't want to happen is I don't want to kind of forget what I'm doing in this area and then kind of leave it loaded. Then all of a sudden I come back and realize, oh my goodness, we have dozens upon dozens of villagers in here and I have nowhere to put them all, and they're causing a strain on the game. So basically that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna let these guys roam freely around here. They will shut off the breeder automatically in case I do forget to flip the switch to actually shut it off. And I just wanted to test to make sure that baby villagers are able to come up in here, which it appears that they are. All right, that's two. That's two. We should have at least 2 more on the way. I'm gonna make sure that they all make it. There is 3, and I think at this point we're probably okay to just go ahead and restart, the building process here. There's 4. Actually, you know what? Before we restart the building process, let's not end up with the same situation that I was telling you guys I didn't want to end up with, where we have dozens of villagers just stacking up here. I'm gonna go ahead and flick the lever to turn this thing off, because I am fairly certain that yes, these guys are continuing to bring more villagers into Luna. Oh man, I appreciate the passion for the job, right? But you know what? Sometimes you guys just need to relax. Okay? But while we have the villagers out of our way, let's go ahead and do a little bit of building before we let them loose. So basically what I need to do to kind of decorate this place, since it's a big place, right, is I need to kind of section it off. And I'm thinking we might do a semi-symmetrical build over on this side, kind of mirroring the ticket booth over there. Except for this won't be a ticket booth. It'll just be like kind of a little structure the same shape and size as the ticket booth that our villagers can just kind of wander in and out of should they so choose. Maybe like a little boat rental thing, like a little canoe rental or kayak rental. That might make sense for this area. I don't know, something along those lines, right? Yeah, I mean, I think we'll have a little boat rental place right here, and I went with the lime terracotta rather than the light blue, just to kind of, switch things up a bit, add a little bit more variety in here. But, it's symmetrical, but not really symmetrical, right? So that part was easy, but now we need to figure out how we're going to divide up the rest of this space. Now, I know I'm going to have some shops here in the back. And then the bulk of this build, though, is going to be like the waiting area, right? So I'm trying to figure out how I want to lay that out as far as the seating goes. I was thinking to maybe putting them in like kind of an arch shape would be more interesting, since we're using a lot of arches in this build. I'm wondering, though, if this might be kind of in the way, like if you walk in here. Oh, actually, you know what? That kind of works, because that kind of funnels you back here to where the shops are going to be, right? That might actually be good for business. All right, so I mean, I guess at this point, you guys know what I want to do. I feel like I've explained that. We have shops in the back, waiting area in the front. We need to divide these areas up and kind of dress them up a little bit, try to make them look a little bit nicer than they currently do. Because right now, it's just a bunch of wasted, empty space. So let me go ahead and play around here, and we'll see what we can come up with. And now that we got this place looking halfway decent, let's go ahead and add a little bit of increased functionality to this. Because keep in mind, we are eventually going to want to bring our villagers out of the ferry terminal into Luna. So if we have a block up here with a button on it, we can use that to briefly deactivate this redstone torch, which will cause all these gates to open briefly, allowing us to take a villager out and then close back up behind us. At least that's what I'm hoping. And I'll explain how I intend for that to work in just a minute, but I wanted to go ahead and let these guys out so they can explore. I was actually expecting they'd make a run for the door, run for that side, but they didn't. Oh, look at they're going to explore their surroundings. He's checking out the boat rental. You know what? While they're exploring, we can go ahead and explore too. I'll go ahead and show you pretty much what I've done to this place, you know. So basically, this is the main entrance. Coming from the Luna Welcome Center, you will walk into here, and this is where you'll buy your tickets to get on the ferry into Luna, right? So once you have your tickets, you'll proceed this way. You'll drop your ticket in a little thingy right there. That's where you put your tickets. And then you can access the waiting area where we have all kinds of shops and stuff. So if your boat's going to be a little while, you can grab a bite to eat, something to drink, you know. And then over here, we have holy afterthought. I forgot to do these areas. You know, we'll tackle the towers in just a minute, but let me go ahead and show you the rest of this stuff. So VIP villager entrance right there. We also have boat rental. That's right, the boat rental. So this is the most important part of this because this is how we're going to bring villagers into Luna, right? So I'll come over here, rent a boat from the boat rental, and then let's say we want to bring this guy into Luna over to the farm district or something. We'll have him hop in the boat. We'll hop in here with him, and then this is where we'll actually personally ferry villager by villager into Luna, right? Now, I'm not going to bring this guy into Luna quite yet because we're not really ready for that. Excuse you. Give my boat back, please. But I'll show you how this is intended to work. So we got a villager in here. I'm in here. We come over here. We push the button. We go down this way and into the water where there will not be a beacon, and we will hopefully not take damage because the beacon will not be there, right? So that's how we're going to move villagers from the ferry station into Luna. That's how we're going to get all our new villagers from here on out, theoretically. Now, I do still need to go ahead and tackle these towers right here because I completely forgot about them. Now, I'll be 100% honest with you. I am not going to give these towers the time and attention they deserve. The time and attention I'd like to contribute to each aspect of every one of my builds because I just don't have the time to do it. But, you know, we want to get these towers at least completed. We want to have them make sense. We want them to be somewhat decorated. I want them to be functional. I want to be able to get on the roof, and I want the build to look completed. So that is more or less the goal. And with that now taken care of, I think we can pretty much call it for the Luna Ferry Terminal. I'll go ahead and take you through the tower so you can see how everything looks, but basically it's pretty simple. Like this is just like a little waiting area, right? And you can take the elevator up here, which leads you to the little watchtower up at the top where we have an excellent view of Luna. We could come out here. This tower also is an up elevator, so we will not go in there quite yet. We will go ahead and cross over to the downside though, because the down elevators are both on this side. So from here, you have an excellent view of the ferry terminal itself. Well, I thought that was a nice little feature, you know? So we have this little walkway that cuts across here, and we also have more towers on this side. Now, pretty much these are all the same here. Oh, there was a ladder. I meant to take you all the way up to the top. You know what? There is an additional, like we can go up a ladder into the upper part of the watchtowers. So I'll go ahead and take you up there real quick. So we would need to go up this side, and then we'll come back down over here, right? So we'll go ahead and take the parkour-y way across. We would need to come up here because I can't fit through a little gap at the counter. Hi guys, hi. Ferry will be here soon, promise. But yeah, we can go ahead and take this up here, and this brings us up here to the roof, and then we can, you know, go up here to this top part and then look around from here as well. There's not too much to see yet, but yeah, I mean, that's the idea, right? Now it's raining. I feel like I was just talking about a mile a minute, but you know, I am in a time crunch right now. This is that final little waiting room. So you guys have seen pretty much everything there is to see. I'm all wet right now. Shake it off. Oh, all right. Oh, this block up here taunting me. Has that been there the whole time? Has that been there the whole time? Ridiculous. Get out of here. Oh, okay. But this is my favorite part of the build, is just kind of stepping back, looking at it, taking it all in, realizing that this project is finished. This project especially, because this has taken a while between last episode and this episode, getting this entire thing built. It's caused some sleepless nights. You know, there's a lot of work that went into this, but I am very happy with the way it turned out. Our villagers, I'm now happy with the way they're being welcomed into Luna. These guys are here trying to buy their tickets. Might be a while before the ferry comes in. Wolfred's over here taking snack orders from these guys, or at least he should be. Wolfred, thank you. Don't ignore a guess. So Wolfred's been in charge of gathering information from Decoy Dog. Any progress on that front? No, huh? None at all? That's okay. We have plenty of time. Decoy Dog is being held safely at LOL headquarters in our secret lab where he can't do any harm, really. So, until we can extract the information, try to figure out where Watchdog is being kept and figure out what Wolfen's Labs is up to, I feel like he's in a safe spot. He's secured. But that, I think, is going to do it for us today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please be sure to hit that little thumbs up button. That would mean a whole lot to me. And if you want to see more, please remember to subscribe. But as always, I just want to thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I deeply appreciate it. And until next time, I am Lobo, and I will see you guys later.